Victoria never believed in ghosts until her third week as night security at the Metropolitan Museum of Contemporary Art. What began as a peaceful job transformed into an enigma. When she noticed small details out of place every morning, the security cameras recorded nothing. The motion sensors remained silent. But someone, or something, was visiting the exhibitions after midnight. That's when Victoria decided to leave a note beside Whispers of Night, the museum's prized sculpture. "Who are you?" The next morning, she found a response that would challenge not only her perception of reality, but also her heart. What Victoria didn't know was that her mysterious visitor, Damien, harbored a secret that would completely transform her understanding of the museum, of art, and of herself. This is the story of two strangers, connected by something deeper than words. A dance of coded messages through artistic references. A mystery that defies rational explanations. Prepare to discover a truth that few know about: what really happens when museum lights go out, and why some secrets ask to be revealed only in darkness. Each night, Victoria observed the same marble walls, the same motionless sculptures, the same silent paintings, until she began to notice the impossible. A subtle fragrance of sandalwood where there had been nothing before. Invisible fingers that meticulously rearranged certain works. Marks that appeared in specific sections of the museum. Her first note was cautious. Her second, curious. Her third, provocative. "Do shadows also feel desire?" she wrote, positioning the note beside the controversial work Bodies in Ecstasy. The next morning, Victoria's heart raced upon finding Damien's response. "Desire lives in shadows, but yearns for the light of your eyes." The elegant handwriting, the dark blue ink, the perfumed paper, everything defied logical explanations. Soon, the notes became bolder, more intimate. Victoria began leaving small challenges for Damien, references to erotic works hidden in the museums. "Private collections," he always responded, deciphering her codes, elevating the game to another level. The dreams began in the fourth week, intense, vivid. Victoria would wake breathless, the physical sensation of unknown hands caressing her skin. How could she desire so deeply someone she had never seen? "I want to see your face," she wrote boldly, leaving the note next to the forbidden kiss, a marble sculpture of two lovers in a moment of complete abandon. "Then meet me in the Renaissance Hall, midnight. Just you, me, and the silent witnesses." On the walls, Damien's handwriting trembled slightly this time, as if written with urgency or contained desire. That night, Victoria chose a dress that slid over her skin like dark water. She let her hair down, perfumed her wrists. For the first time in years, she felt truly alive, excited by the possibility of the unknown, by the promise of a touch that until then existed only in her imagination. The echo of her heels against marble announced her arrival. Her entire body anticipated the encounter. What would happen when they were finally face to face? Who was this man who knew every hidden corner of the museum, every secret of the works she guarded? The clock struck midnight when Victoria crossed the threshold of the hall. For a moment, it seemed empty. Then she felt, even before seeing, a presence moving in the shadows. A masculine silhouette slowly emerged from the darkness. Damien's figure revealed itself gradually under the weak light entering through the skylights. Tall, elegant, with eyes that seemed to absorb all the darkness around. Victoria felt her body respond instinctively to his presence, an electric tension between two poles finally close enough to create sparks. "You really exist," she whispered, her voice betraying the tremor that ran through her body. Damien smiled an enigmatic smile that made Victoria remember the Mona Lisa watching them from a distant room. "As real as the sensations we provoke in each other through words," he replied, his fingers finally touching hers. The contact was like liquid fire, awakening memories of the dreams Victoria had every night. They walked together through the galleries, bodies close, but not completely touching, a dance of contained seduction. Damien knew each work intimately, spoke of them like old lovers. For each reference Victoria had left in her notes, he had an answer that deepened the meaning. "Why do you never appear in the security systems?" she asked, eyes fixed on his lips. her voice a mixture of sigh and challenge. "Some mysteries deserve to remain mysteries," he murmured, his lips almost brushing the curve of her neck. "Isn't it the unknown that makes everything more intense for reality?" Victoria led him to the temporary exhibition room. Hidden desires, erotic art through the centuries, works rarely displayed to the public now, silently witnessed the growing desire between two strangers who knew each other intimately through words. Under the gaze of lovers immortalized in centuries-old canvases, Damien finally pulled Victoria to him. The first kiss was like diving into an abyss, deep, vertiginous, inevitable. Her hands trembled slightly as they unbuttoned his shirt, revealing pale skin marked by an ancient scar that descended from his chest until disappearing under his belt. "Been watching you for much longer than you imagine," he confessed, his fingers tracing the outline of her face, descending down her neck. Exploring the delicate curve of her collarbone, Victoria guided him to a discreet corner of the gallery, where an antique divan, part of the 19th century furniture exhibition, offered support for bodies that could no longer resist the gravity of desire. Between increasingly bold caresses, between increasingly uncontained sighs, Damien revealed the truth about himself, words interrupted by kisses, confessions murmured against Victoria's skin, secrets shared in the most vulnerable moment. "You are Victoria," couldn't finish the sentence, the puzzle pieces finally fitting together in her mind. The reason he never appeared on cameras? The intimate knowledge of works that not even the curators knew completely. He confirmed, his eyes reflecting centuries of solitude. "I am part of this place, not just a visitor, but a guardian much older than these walls." Victoria should have felt fear, should have doubted her own sanity. Instead, she felt as if she finally understood something she had always known intuitively. "So that's why your eyes seem to have seen the creation of each of these works," she whispered, her fingers tracing the line of his jaw. Damien responded with a deep kiss, sufficient confirmation for that night. That night. Between forbidden caresses and whispered confessions, Victoria understood that she had crossed a boundary from which there was no return, the world she knew. Before logical, predictable, safe now seemed a pale imitation of the vibrant reality that Damien revealed to her. Victoria woke alone on the divan, Damien's warmth still present on her skin. For a moment she questioned whether it all hadn't been an intensely vivid dream. But the marks on her body told another story, small bruises where his fingers had pressed with urgency. The sensation of his lips still ghostly against her neck. The artwork seemed different now, more alive, as if they shared a secret with her. Victoria ran her fingers over the portrait of a Renaissance woman, whose eyes seemed to follow her, the same painting that Damien had mentioned being inextricably linked. 2. Dawn separates us, but night always returns. Now that you know who I am, it remains only to discover why I chose you. Damien's elegant handwriting, the same as the previous notes, now carried a much deeper meaning. In the days that followed, Victoria divided herself between two realities. During the day, she obsessively searched for information about the museum's history, about urban legends, about the specific portrait that Damien had mentioned. It was in a dusty catalog from 1887 that she found the first clue, the acquisition of the portrait of Elena Venetia, painted by the enigmatic Venetian artist Alessandro Vincenti. The resemblance between Elena and Victoria was disturbing. It's almost supernatural. In the lower corner of the painting, it's almost invisible to the naked eye, an inscription, "My love transcends time. I will find you again." The same words that Damien had whispered against her skin the night before. In the following nights, the museum transformed into the private playground of lovers who defied the laws of time. Each room, each corridor, each hidden space witnessed the unfolding of a passion that bordered on obsession. Damien possessed her. With the urgency of someone who had lived decades of solitude, Victoria received him with the abandon of one who had finally found her place in the universe. Between muffled moans and whispered pleas, their bodies told stories that their mouths didn't yet dare to pronounce completely. It was in moments of most intense pleasure that Victoria glimpsed something inhuman in Damien's eyes, a golden glow, pupils that momentarily transformed, as if passion made his true nature overflow the human disguise. "Why do you always disappear at dawn?" she asked once, fighting against sleep. Damien traced the outline of her lips with his fingertips, like an artist memorizing his favorite work. "'Cause I belong to the shadows, my love. The sun and I have an ancient agreement. It rains during the day, I during the night. It's the price I pay for immortality." Reality began to intrude on the nocturnal idyll when the museum director announced a major renovation, including new ultra-modern security systems, cameras in every inch of the building, additional guards. The choice became inevitable. Continue her normal life, leaving Damien behind, or dive completely into the mystery he represented, abandoning everything she knew. "There is a price," Damien explained on the penultimate night, his fingers intertwined with hers, "for us to stay. Together, you would need to become like me. You're neither alive nor dead. Part of the art, trapped in this place, free only in the shadows. And if I say yes?" she asked, her voice barely audible over the distant sound of the city. Damien smiled, that smile that mixed desire and sadness in perfect proportions. "Then, we'll have eternity. Endless nights. Passion that never fades. But the sun will never touch your skin again. You'll never age again. You'll never belong to the world of the living again." On the night of the grand reopening, Victoria wore a blood-red dress. She moved among the guests like a ghost, silently saying goodbye to a life that no longer belonged to her. At midnight, while the party continued on the upper floors, Victoria found Damien in the ancient crypt beneath the museum, a space unknown to modern architects guarding secrets from past centuries. "Once you drink this, there's no going back," he warned, eyes fixed on hers, searching for any sign of hesitation. "Your essence will merge with mine, with the art, with the museum itself." Victoria thought of her life before Damien: predictable days, lonely nights, a mapped future without surprises. Then she thought of the nights in his arms, the intensity of each touch, the promise of experiences that transcended human understanding. "I choose you," she whispered, before tilting the contents of the vial between her lips. The liquid descended down her throat like liquid fire, spreading through her veins, transforming each cell, each thought. The last kiss as a human was also the first kiss of her new existence. Victoria felt her skin becoming more sensitive, her senses expanding. The pleasure that Damien provided her now was almost unbearable in its intensity. The transformation culminated in the deepest union they had ever experienced, not just physical. While Damien possessed her, Victoria felt her essence, merging with his, transcending the limits of their bodies, becoming part of something much greater. When the last candle was extinguished, Victoria Venetia ceased to exist as the world knew her. In her place, a new guardian of the museum was born, eternally beautiful, eternally passionate, eternally trapped in the shadows beside her immortal lover. 1 year later, "Have you heard the rumors about this place?" asked the rookie guard. Adjusting his uniform belt, they say the last night guard simply disappeared. Security cameras showed her entering the museum that night, but never leaving. "There are many stories about this museum," replied the veteran, his eyes scanning the shadows as if searching for something. "The most interesting is about two lovers who appear in glass reflections, in shadows on walls, in whispers between galleries. The systems pick up interference every night exactly at midnight. Technicians have already changed the equipment 3 times, but the phenomenon persists." "And that portrait in the East Wing? The woman in the green dress? They say her eyes follow visitors, that her expression changes when no one is looking directly. Some swore they saw her smile."
Oh.
The guards continued on their way,
Oh.
unaware of the two silhouettes gradually materializing in the shadows behind them, ethereal figures, almost transparent, moving with the fluidity of ink and water. Victoria and Damien intertwined their fingers. Their bodies now made of the same substance, half matter, half shadow, completely immortal. A year had passed since their transformation, and each night still brought discoveries, new sensations, unprecedented forms of pleasure. "Do you regret it?" asked Damien, his lips brushing her neck while his hands slid under the ghostly fabric of the dress she wore. "Not for a second," she whispered, pulling him into a deep kiss. "Eternity seems too short when I'm in your arms." Their new existence had granted them gifts Victoria had never imagined: the ability to inhabit works of art, to travel through artistic eras, to experience the world through the eyes of the great masters who created each painting, each sculpture. Pleasure transcended human understanding when they made love within the swirl of colors of a Van Gogh, or between the fragmented forms of a Picasso, or wrapped in the golden light of a Klimt. Each artwork amplified their sensations in unique ways. Each sexual union, a completely new experience. The cycle continues. Sophia adjusted the badge on her new uniform, observing the empty galleries with a mixture of excitement and apprehension. Her art professor had gotten this job for her, a perfect opportunity to study the works. Outside the busy visiting hours, that's when she saw the first note. Elegant handwriting on aged paper. "Welcome to our world. Look for us in the shadows between the masterpieces." Sophia felt a shiver run down her spine, half fear, half fascination. "She seems receptive," commented Victoria, snuggling against Damien's chest. "She has the eyes of someone who sees beyond the visible. We need a third soul to complete the circle," agreed Damien. "The museum wants to expand. New rooms will open next year. We'll need help to protect all the works. And it's been so long since we experienced the thrill of a new transformation." Victoria bit her lip, remembering the intensity of her own passage to immortality, the indescribable ecstasy, the sensation of rebirth, the pleasure that bordered on pain in its absolute purity. Meanwhile, Sophia found the second note of the night, her fingers trembling slightly as she unfolded the paper. There are worlds between brushstrokes, realities between layers of paint, pleasures between planes of existence. Do you want to discover them with us? In the velvety darkness of the sleeping museum, Victoria and Damien waited patiently. Eternity had taught them that certain things cannot be rushed. The contemplation of a masterpiece, the seduction of a kindred soul, the slow and inexorable unfolding of destiny. The stories of immortal lovers spread through centuries like whispers. Some become legends, others remain secret, guarded by the silent walls that witness their passion. But all share one truth: true desire never dies, it only transforms, adapts, finds new bodies to inhabit. And in the deserted galleries of the Metropolitan Museum of Contemporary Art, when the last light goes out and silence settles, the eternal dance between art and desire, between immortality and passion, between shadow and ecstasy, continues, invisible to common eyes, but palpable to those rare individuals who can see beyond the veil of reality.